I felt in the atmosphere 2 days before demonstration, something will happen. I have this feeling, you know, the city was too quiet.
The Persians came and destroyed Athens. So this is part of the temple that the Iranians, the Persians, destroyed at that time. And when the Athenians started rebuilding Athens, they decided to use these columns for people to remember that if you don't protect properly your country, it is bound to have this sort of catastrophes. And so it is an educational part of the wall, you see, to remember, part of the history.
A program, a serial, and suddenly got news, and every 5-10 minutes was the news, and tell us about all these fires, the disasters, and I was very disappointing. And you don't know who did them, who did all these things. You don't know, might be around us, and it's a little frightening. No, because there are all these hoods, these black hoods, and you don't see their faces, and you don't understand why, the reason of doing all this.
I guess that I'll have to thank you, you destroyer of a cinema. These broken glasses look brilliant on the camera. Probably, without knowing, you turned your aggressiveness into poetry. What would I do without you? What should I film? What should cinemas show?
They see that they don't have a lot of future. Their education isn't very good. So they don't have alternatives. They don't have a hope in the future. That causes anger. Of course, they can understand that a lot of the politics have worked in a wrong manner for their future, and all of this causes this reaction. I think that in the future we're going to have a lot of reactions in that sector. It's really, I don't think it's really bad. I think it's bad. We don't have creativity in our country. I don't know if I'm... but we don't have creativity. We don't make things. That's the worst part of all.
This time was not burning on the banks. Sure, they burned the banks. Well, okay. You could say banks have some responsibility. Okay, I don't think it's a reason to burn them. But they have something. It has something to do. But when you burn cinemas, when you burn, they try to burn the National Library. You burn culture. You burn the temples of culture, and it's not a cinema. It's a Atticon. It's the most historical cinema in Athens. It's even a building, historical building of the early 19th century. I mean, we have few beautiful things in this town. If we have, even if, let's believe they are not manipulated by police or extreme right. Let's say they are themselves anarchists. Let's say they are anarchists. I don't believe they are anarchists. Let's say they are anarchists. Your politics in a town which has so many ugly things is to burn the beauty, to burn the culture, to the people. They cannot even go to cinema. They cannot even go to the library to see the... It's a crime for me.
Listening to Ruben telling me about the conversation he heard between two filmmakers about the burned cinema and their helplessness in front of the slow decline, I remembered the stories about my grandfather, which I probably mixed with movies I have seen, but he definitely noticed that something was going wrong at that time. People were disappearing, neighbors, friends. This silent sadness because of the destruction of beauty, the decay of values. This was to me burning a cinema.
Things are bad, let's make them worse. That making worse, people will take conscience of this and they will react. It's a logical of civil war. Civil war, we have lived one civil war in Greece in 1946 till 1949. We are still living now in 2012 the consequences of this civil war. Civil war lasts centuries.
Can I call you?
The far left and far right of the political spectrum, and they believe that it's their way or nobody's way. So they don't respect the results of any election, they don't respect any procedures, and it's their way, and they think that they are right, and as part of that ideology, they think that they can destroy property or burn buildings or hit people. They behave as if there is a war on. And I'm sorry, but there isn't. It's been 40 years of prosperity, of growth. The public service has improved. We have better hospitals, better schools. More people are getting educated. Yes, there are problems and there are troubles, but everything is getting better. In 1950s, we had city houses that had compacted earth for flooring. There's been a leap for Greece in the last 60 years. And that does not excuse any sort of behavior or ideology like that, in my book. But I'm not going to use force to make them believe me. I believe in democracy.
I think that things are going to be a lot more difficult in the next years to come. As a nation, we have done a lot of wrong things about us, and we're a little bit separated, the one from the next. We are not, how can I say, we don't have a goal altogether. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm not optimistic at all.
In my experience, the worst feeling I can have is the feeling of powerlessness, when my actions have no effect. Considering that, I can imagine why people burn a cinema. They prove to themselves that they aren't weak. Like, our actions will have an effect. We will get hurt.
my parents, my teachers, go down to the center to march in protest, and peacefully, in a peaceful way. And suddenly came all these people with the hoods, and make all these disasters without any reason. And that's, I think, that has a very bad impact on our social life, on our country, or our history. They are over in abroad. All other countries are discussing us in a bad way, and we don't give a good, how can I say it, a good
impression.
Yes, to the others.
But do you think that people should protest?
Yes, of course, but in a peaceful way. What everyone did, but there were very few people, very few, who make all this.
Do you think that you can blame someone for what happened?
All we have a fault. Yes, all we have make bad choices for our all the politic system. It's not good. The previous generation of us, the wars we have been through, have make all this situation. I don't know. We all fault.
Vera told us that she liked very much that Greek graffiti sprayer did not paint over the other graffitis, but seemed to play with them, treated them as part of their own graffiti. There was this graffiti, the black ash on the wall of the cinema. Slowly, pieces were falling down. A living graffiti. With our camera, we tried to play with it, use it as an important part of our work.
Fire, it's something, it's primitive. Something primitive, something will burn, it's an attraction, like it's an attraction to the void, The void attracts you, the fire attracts you. It's inside you, it's not logical, it's primitive. This kind of reaction, this kind of politics is primitive. It's a nihilism. The attract of the void, the attract of nothing. Let's break everything, let's burn everything. I don't know even if they want to build something on the nothing, but sure, you never build upon nothing.
They say we have to keep the bigger picture in mind. In Athens, I met a woman. She used to be middle class. Nowadays, she got problems to feed her children. They say we have to keep the bigger picture in mind.
The European Commission mainly is highly conservative in its view and in its solutions. They are so much afraid of inflation that they prefer to have, I don't know, millions of people out of work. And that's not on. Nothing will happen if you burn a cinema down. You need policies, and to get policies, you need to work on them, make them workable, make them doable, and put them forth. And then have a demonstration on having, on voicing your opinion and say that, we want the Eurobonds. We want better terms. We want more time to adjust. We cannot adjust a country that has run in a specific way for hundreds of years. We cannot do it in 24 months. Belgium didn't do it. Van Rompuy cut 1% of the deficit a year. We cut 8 last year. Enough. That's one thing. Burning down your city is a completely different matter. That's what I mean. In many ways, I'm with them. I could have been with them.
I mean, in a way, this burning of cinemas had been to me some kind of affirmation how absurd human life can be. Marco said that they burned beauty, and of course this was not the opposite of my idea, but by having him calling a cinema beauty, talking about his wish of making movies about beauty, a different answer to destruction seemed to be findable for me.
I think that hope will come from the need of the people to live. We have to live, we have to try. It's an obligation. We have to be more competitive. We have to be more creative. In every way we can. This is another solution. I'm telling to the children that the education is a way to go further. That they have to fight in the future. Things are changing, but all the young people mustn't be afraid of the future. We are humans, things are tough, but that doesn't mean that we must bend because the situation is difficult. Everyone must have power for the future, and this is going to help all the society, I think. I don't know really, but I think. And I think that as a teacher, what I'm doing is this. I'm trying to show to all the children that I'm doing something extra. They have to do also something extra. And if this go further, it will be better for all of us. I think, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Ήτανε διαλυμένα, δεν θέλαμε τίποτα. Όπως τα βλέπεις. Διαλυμένα όλα. Σπασμένα.
Μισό λεπτό. Έχει βομβητή. Ο βομβητής είναι, ρε παιδιά. Περιμένετε.
Δεν βγάλαμε τίποτα, έτσι.
Περίμενε, έχει βομβητή. Έχει βομβητή για τυφλούς.
We are Greek. We have this, all these ideas, all this. We have we have a lot of disadvantages. We have and advantages, but more disadvantages. And we have to, how can I say it? Δεν μου έρχεται η λέξη. Ναι, ότι πρέπει να κάνουμε μια αυτοκριτική. Ότι πρέπει να καταλάβουμε ότι πρέπει να είμαστε ενωμένοι και να προχωρήσουμε.
To criticize ourselves.
No, okay. To criticize ourselves and understand that we are a team. And now, with all the economic crisis and all the happening in our politics, we have to be together in order to face all these problems.
Should Europe give us a break? Yeah, they should give us a break, I think. I understand I'm perfectly okay with having very, very strict rules on how we go on from here on. But when this stops being a procedure and it gets to a sort of a moral ground, then you start having an exchange between people, which Europe was supposed to. We created the European Union to stop this, you know. And you have, you have Northern Europeans saying for the Southerners that they are lazy, and then you have Southerners saying for the Northern Europeans that they are Nazis, and then you have all these things happening again. After we did, I mean, the European Union started to stop this sort of discussion within Europe. It's really stupid to start it again over money, you know. Print it, improve on the rules, and get on with it, you know, as a group, as a family. Otherwise, we're going to kill each other again.